Welcome back to the Aging Parent Playbook. I'm Dr. Barbara Sparacino, and today we're diving into one of the hardest conversations you'll ever have, telling your parent it's time to consider assisted living. If you're dreading this talk, you're not alone. Maybe your parent is fiercely independent, in denial about their health, or flat out refusing to listen. You might be afraid of breaking their heart, damaging your relationship, or feeling like you're giving up on them. But here's the truth. Having this conversation early, before a crisis, can actually lead to a better outcome for everyone. Waiting until an emergency forces your hand takes away their ability to make choices, and it makes the transition even harder. So today, we'll cover when to start the conversation and how to recognize the signs it's time. How to bring it up without triggering defensiveness. What to do if your parent refuses to listen. This is a tough talk, but avoiding it won't make it easier. So let's get into it. So how do you know it's time for assisted living? Most families wait until a crisis forces them to make a decision. An ER visit, a bad fall, a medical emergency. Suddenly you're scrambling to find care. Your parent is overwhelmed and emotions are running high. The best thing you can do, start the conversation before you're in crisis mode. But how do you know when it's time? So let's talk about the biggest warning signs. Some red flags that it's time to consider assisted living are safety concerns, frequent falls or bruises, forgetting to turn off the stove or lock the doors, wandering or getting lost in familiar places. If there's significant cognitive decline, memory lapses that impact daily living, missing doctor's appointment, forgetting meals, forgetting medication, getting confused with finances, late or unpaid bills, repeating the same questions multiple times a day. Also, neglecting self-care. If you notice weight loss or dehydration, wearing the same clothes for days, skipping medication, taking the wrong dose. Also, increased isolation, avoiding social events they once loved, drawing from family and friends, no longer keeping up with hobbies, and struggling with daily tasks, not cleaning their home, spoiled food in the fridge, struggling to cook, missing meals, trouble keeping up with laundry, bathing, or dressing. If you're seeing multiple signs, it's time to start the conversation. The sooner you begin, the more control and choices your parent will have over their next steps. So now you know it's time. But how do you have the talk without resistance? Now comes the hard part. Bringing it up without triggering resistance. This is where most families go wrong. They start the conversation with mom, you can't live alone anymore. Dad, we need to move you into assisted living. You're not safe here. You need to leave. This approach feels like an attack. And what happens? What happens when people are attacked? They shut down. I encourage instead, use a more empathetic, gradual approach that invites them into the decision-making process. So step 1, start with empathy. Lead with concern, not control. For example, hey, I've noticed you've been having a harder time keeping up with the house. How are you feeling about that? Ask open-ended questions. So what worries you most about getting extra help? Step 2, use gentle non-language. Avoid words like nursing home or facility. Instead, try a community where you'll have more support, a place where someone can take care of the cooking and cleaning for you. Highlight the positives. Wouldn't it be nice to have people around with whom to socialize? Step 3, give them some control. Let them tour facility. Ask for their input. Example, if you ever needed more help, what would be most important to you? And frame it as a trial run. Example, would you be open to trying it for a short stay and seeing how you feel? Because the more involved they feel, the smoother the transition will be. Now, what to do if your parent refuses? So what do we do if they even refuse to even consider it? What if they shut down, change the subject, or get angry? Here's the key. This isn't a one-time conversation. It's a process. If they resist, don't force it, but don't drop it entirely either. How do we handle resistance? We don't push too hard. If they refuse, we back off and revisit later. This is about planting the seed gradually. Bring it up in small doses over time. Try a short-term stay. Some facilities offer respite care stays, like for a few weeks to a month, so they can experience without a long-term commitment. Also, get their doctor involved. Sometimes hearing it from a physician is more convincing. Contact the aging parent coach. I can help you with that. And most importantly, be patient. Fear of losing independence is real. And it's valid, and it takes time to accept change. And like I started this conversation, this is one of the hardest conversations you'll ever have, but avoiding it only makes it harder. Start early, approach with empathy, and give them a sense of control. And most of all, be patient with the process. If today's episode was helpful, please share it with someone who might need it. And if you need guidance navigating these conversations, check out my coaching program for one-on-one support at theagingparentcoach.com. And until next time, take care of yourself.